Oh, here's another joke for you. Guy goes up in an airplane and has some fun, goes back and tells his friend about it. And he says, well, how was the airplane flight? And he goes, well, I went up there. He says, we went way up in the air in the airplane. And he says, and we're flying around and everything's pretty good. Then the guy that takes me out there says, hey, you gay? I said, no, I'm not. And he says, well, I am. And guess what? You either put up or you have to jump out the airplane. And his friend looked at him and goes, well, what happened? He says, well, he told me either jump or have sex with him. So his friend says, did you jump? He says, yeah, at first. Got another joke for you. People making the Americans, they outlawed bungee jumping here in America in certain states. So they said, well, we're going to go to Mexico, where the tourists come in there and this and that, and we'll make a bungee jumping tower. So they go into a town, they get their permits and all this stuff, and they make this tower. And the village people all standing around there watching them, and they're making this thing a couple of days. And they're sitting there, people are all gathering around watching them make this tower. So they get it done, and a friend says, okay, who's going to jump first? So they flip for it. No pun met. But anyway, one guy gets strapped in and everything else, jumps off the bungee jump off the tower, goes down, boing, pops back up, kind of roughed up looking. Then he comes down again and pops back up. He's got black eyes and, marks all over him. And then he bounces down, he comes back up, and his buddy's looking at him, he's going, damn, this guy's got busted teeth. He's all smacked up and everything else. So finally, he gets a hold of the bungee cord and stops him from bouncing up and down, pulls his buddy up. He goes, what the heck happened? And his buddy that was on the bungee cord goes, what the hell's a piñata? Yeah, here's a little something for y'all. Every time it rains, for about a day to 2 days after it rains, you'll see on the trees way out here, like there, all the way up that tree and all, and like this one right here, all this right here, it looks like little ferns. They're not. It's called indicator plant. When it rains, it'll sprout out and turn beautiful green and everything else, just like you see there. But when it's been dry for about 3 or 4 days, it'll start to wither down. If it hasn't rained in about a week or so, or longer, it dries up and becomes this little curled up little, looks like a dead weed or something on the plants, on the trees. But it's an actual air plant, and it's called indicator plant because when it rains, within an hour after it rains, it turns plush green and it looks just like this, and it's beautiful. But they grow all over the trees here. And then we'll also have other little natural things here too. Right behind me, a wild orange tree. Where some bird apparently enjoyed a meal and did his business there. And got a nice tall tree growing there. In fact, if you look real careful, let's see if I can find it on the thing here. There is an orange in here somewhere. Let's see. I have to walk a little closer. There's a couple oranges right there. I guess you can see them. There's one right there and one there. But those are wild oranges, and they drop and create other little orange trees, which we have. Actually, I'm looking right here. Little orange trees right here. That's so cool because originally orange trees started from Hawaii, and people used to ship them here and give them out as Christmas presents. And a couple oranges or a dozen oranges, they were imported fruits. And people learned how to use every part of an orange for something. They'd use the skins for marmalades, and of course the orange itself for juice and stuff, but they learned how to use every piece of the orange or any kind of citrus that came from there. So, and now, they're so abundant here now, they can literally grow wild. Up, out here hiking alongside the road again, but that's my life. Well, cool thing about it, when you're walking along, you always have to watch where you're walking. Because you don't want to accidentally step on one of those guys. You can get it down there. Just a typical black snake. Well, you're walking along the path, you always have to keep an eye open, because you don't want to step on one of those. I know people see me out here, hiker Bob, always walking around and everything else, but I live a double life. Got something interesting here outside my barn. saw a grub, which is very unusual to see outside of wood. They're usually burrowed deep into wood. When you split wood or anybody chops wood, just found grubs. But this guy was just out in the open and laying there. But the funny thing is, he was crawling real fast like a caterpillar. But instead of doing it on his belly with his legs, he was actually on his back and moving just as fast as a caterpillar. I'm going to put this on video, see what it looks like, show y'all that this actually works. Okay, here he is on his back. There's his legs clearly right there. And he is crawling on his back like a caterpillar. And I can roll him over on his back, on his legs. He'll flip over and crawl on his back like a caterpillar. And you can see there's his legs. These little things here are his legs. He's just going to town on his back. So there's something strange for you. Grubs crawl better on their backs than they do with their little front feet that they use when they burrow through wood. Bathrooms always make you sound better than you actually are. Well, little Bob, one of these days you're going to have to listen to what I taught you and fly straight, because you'll have children of your own one day. Yeah, Dad, and so are you. This is my guard lizard. He actually sits outside of the barn that I go out in during the day, do my work and stuff and make things. It's an artwork. Kind of an art studio / barn. But he guards this whole area. So I actually put this post and this little floater thing up here for him. And I put these plants out here. I had to trim that one back. But he guards the whole front of this barn that I use as an art gallery out here that I do my artwork. But that is my official guard lizard. He actually lets me get up to him close and actually I'll nearly touch him most of the time. See if he'll let me do it. No, don't want to be bothered today. But he's got a little girlfriend too, right there. And this guy was talking to the doctor, and he says, geez, Doc, it hurts here, it hurts over here, it hurts here, here, back here, over here. And the doctor looks at him and says, huh, your finger's broke. Yeah, well, I'll see you later. Love you. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Hello? Hello? Well, secretly, the war against the ravenous gophers, government has hired me to take care of a few things, but it's all kind of secret, so don't tell anybody. But what they do is they have me go out and they'll find me doing something like this. I'll go up and see the gopher hole. Hi, Mr. Gopher. It's nobody dangerous, just me, Hiker Bob. I'm just going to drop something off here at your doorstep. Then I drop it off, and I get safe at a good distance. Okay, guys, you can go ahead and send in the drone. There's something you don't see too often anymore, is the good green lizard. Actually, it's not a lizard, it's got another name to it, but this is an actual type of chameleon. It'll turn brown, and other times it'll turn bright green. The thing is, in Florida, we got these other lizards that are darkish brown with different patterns on them that actually kill these little guys that were introduced to Florida as a foreign species. I was at a friend of mine's house, but it's pretty cool to see one of these. I don't see them often. I used to see them all the time when I was a kid. I was just thinking, they put missing people's pictures on cartons of milk. But if you're bisexual, do they put your pictures on a carton of half and half? Beautiful woods for sale and everything else, but who'd be shoving a pig in a mailbox? Meaning to pigs in a blanket. One of these things is not like the others. Can you spot the horse thing I noticed when you're out here walking along, you meet so many nice people. It's like that one time I was on that bridge up there, and people getting concerned. They're like, don't jump, don't jump. Think of your family. And you know, they had the fire department and everything else up there. And I said, hey, can y'all keep it quiet? I'm trying to fish. Walking along out here hiking, I found a who. At a friend's house. The sun's shining nice and bright, and it's pouring down rain. This is hilarious. Only in Florida. And I'm out here hiking around and I get caught in the rain. But that's my life. I'm out hiking. How can people tell I went through New Orleans? Well, I'm just rushing around. Fast and the Furious 7. This is as bad as Police Academy. Search for more money. Captain, I'm still rushing around.
I just found out my friend was 2 months pregnant. I'm just like, how?
Well, when a man and a woman and a horse fall in love.
Bob, can I come over to your house?
Yeah, but I have a dog.
Does your dog like children?
Yes. In fact, he just finished 2 this morning. Dun, dun. And another little joke for you. A little girl comes home and she shows her mother. She's got this big bag of nickels. And her mother goes, how in the world did you get all those nickels, honey? And she goes, the boys at school were paying me a nickel to stand on my head. And she goes, Susie, she goes, they were doing that so they could see your panties. Every time you stood on your head, your dress would flip up. They just did that so they could see your panties. And she goes, well, I fooled them, Mom. I wasn't wearing any. Selfie! Okay, God, get out of my selfie. Thank you. Yeah, they say a guy is really blessed because he has really big feet. But maybe that's true. Why do you think clowns are so happy? Yeah, I was just sitting here wondering. Say you're over in, like, Epcot, and you're going to Mexico, then you go over to China, and then you go over to the France, and you're going to all the different countries that they have there. And say you accidentally walk out with something and they chase you down for shoplifting, but you're already in one of the other the other countries. Do they have to expedite you back? Well, start off with spanking this. Okay, that is totally uncalled for. Music played by real Indians, by the Chief Hakawatchan and the Pawnee tribe. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little gopher holes, 4 little gopher holes here. God, it's the biggest gopher hole I've ever seen. What the hell? You can drive a truck in that thing. That must be the Queen Mother's gopher hole's nest, and all the others must be gophers that serve her. Houston. We need you to get the satellite and beam down at my coordinates, and I'll tell you where to move the satellite, okay? Okay, move the laser over a little more. Back. Wait for it. Fire. You know, I was getting older. I was talking to an old friend of mine. They were telling me, you know, one of the worst things about getting old is? Depends.